Hi, welcome to Sheepish, episode 36. Today is Sunday, April 20th, 2014, and I'm Holly. So happy Easter to all of you who celebrate, and for those of you who don't, happy Sunday. I hope the last couple of weeks have been really good to you and that you've gotten a lot done. How have you guys been? Busy as usual for me. I actually haven't gotten a lot of knitting done because, I focused on one thing for a while and then, yeah. So let's go ahead and just get started. I just wanted to do this one as a quick catch up for you guys. So first up on the current roster, living in my Slip Stitch Studios bag, Sock Plus bag, is my April Saki sock. This is the Knitter's Nightmare. I believe it's the Boogeyman base, which is a wool 75-25 wool nylon blend. I don't think it's the BFL base. But yeah, and this is in the Thank You for Being a Friend colorway, which I can never say without immediately thinking in my head the song from Golden Girls, because that's high. Yeah, I'm really trying not to sing that right now. So these are being knit on a 1.5 needle, my standard toe up vanilla sock pattern. So yeah, 64 stitches around, Judy's Magic Cast On. And I'm getting close to the point where I need to try it on. I think I'm going to give it one more stripey row and then I'm going to try it on and see how much farther, if any, that I need to go, or if at all I need to go on that. So yeah, that hasn't had a lot of work done. It's still sock 1 and it's the 20th of April. Can I get them done? Possibly, if I work on nothing else. Yeah, April Saki sock. And yeah, I may have cast something else on. I wound this yarn earlier this week. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you saw that I've been working on this. And part of the reason is that I am teaching a sock class at Fiber Space. And in the sock class, it's a top-down sock class done on DPNs, Magic Loop, or 2 circs. And we use my pattern, my Bondi sock pattern. And I've knit that. I've knit that a few times now. The last time I knit it, I know, was for Mom. But still, I've knit it. I'm really not in the mood to knit it again right now. So I pulled this out, and this is my Into the World, the Gloucester 2-ply. Whoops. Let's see if we can get that to focus. Focus. Come on. There we go. So it's the Gloucester 2-ply 80/20 superwash merino and nylon in the Mercy Hardigan colorway, about 400 yards. Yes, Doctor Who reference, which is why I had to have it. I figured that since sheep and wool is not that far away, I actually should knit up something that I got at Sheep and Wool. And yes, I spun up something I got at Sheep and Wool last year, immediately once I got my wheel. But I thought that I should probably knit up something. So this got wound, and it originally was supposed to be the Hermione's Everyday Socks pattern. As you might be able to see, it is not the Hermione's Everyday Sock pattern. Try as I might, I could not get the texture to read. It just kind of looked sloppy. And I mean, I love that pattern, and I couldn't get it to work with this. And it does this like weird, like spirally striping thing, which is kind of nice. But I couldn't get really anything to play nicely with it. So another vanilla sock it is. So this time it's just a standard vanilla sock, 64 stitches. I cast on with the Twisted German cast on, which is what I teach in the class. Let's see if we can get that to focus. Come on, focus. You can do it, camera. Really? Come on. All right, fine. It's not going to focus. But I use a Twisted German cast on for my socks because it's so super stretchy. Just a regular 1x1 rib, and I've just been knitting. Lots and lots of knitting. I probably got from this stripe here down last night while watching podcasts. Yeah, that's pretty much how I've been watching them right before bed and knitting until I'm just too tired to think. So that is that. That's living in one of my Piddle Loot bags. It took me a while to think of who actually did this bag because there are no tags on it. But I'm like, I remember. All of a sudden it came to me. So my Piddle Loot bag. Yeah. Because, you know, something comes off the needle, something else has to go on, and of course it needs to be another sock. That I think is probably, those are probably going to be my May socks. I figure if I've got 2 pairs of socks on the needles, that will count for 2 months, right? Maybe. And then, or I can show you the right side. Yes, my big granny square, my Highland handmade snapshots from from Maine Yarn Club. I will be able to get that. Yes, I finally gotten through the first month. So this was Immutable, the Immutable colorway. And again, I can't remember what the actual yarn was. I just know that it was something that I really, really liked. And I love how it just kind of shows, like all the colors just pop. So I wound the faded flannel in February, and that is, oops, let's see. Come on, you can do it. There we go. The Red Ash Worsted, which is 100% Targhee, in the faded flannel colorway. And in case you don't remember when I talked about this, this was a tribute to Paul Bunyan. So I've just gotten started. I still haven't decided if I'm going to rip back and then just do individual squares or not. As you can see, I finished here. So this was the end of the one ball and the beginning of the next. So I did it right in the middle. I actually joined these using the magic knot, double knot. And I literally had 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches that I cut off. That was it. So, and this was my beginning. So I used up as much of that skein as I possibly could. And once I did that and I got into the new color, yeah, I kind of petered out there for a bit. I am using a different hook. So I'm doing this on, whoops. Yep. On an eye hook. So a little bigger than what the yarn's calling for. And this is a Knitter's Pride. It's their dream. It's from the Dreams collection. So I was using the Susan Bates hooks, and you know, they're fine. They're fine, and I actually normally will use those. However, for some reason, on something like this where I was doing the exact same thing over and over again, it was killing my hands. So I decided that I was going to try a wooden hook, and I'm not a big fan of bamboo in needles or hooks, so I decided, well, I'll try the Fancy Dreams ones. And they work. They actually, I can crochet for longer periods of time with them. So that's always happy. So that's the current roster. I mean, I still have the Once Upon a Time stitch along going on. I have not worked on that at all this month. Not not any farther than I last showed you with the bears partially done. I am hoping that I get a chance to do that so I can catch up with April. Probably at the very end of the month, but I can do that. So I'm hoping to do that sooner rather than later. It's hard for me since I've actually moved things over and thing, I've got shelves here. I no longer have the table that used to live here, so I can't just lean on it and, rest a project on it. And I feel really odd holding the frame out like this. And yeah. So I need to adapt because I can't do it upstairs in my bed because my light's just not good. So I can do it down here, but I really need another space, and so we'll see. But that'll get done hopefully sooner rather than later because we don't have much of the month left. And I really haven't worked on anything. I've added in a new pony to my my Low Whirl drop spindle from Kate's Cauldron, but I haven't actually done anything else on that. So yeah, I need to get back to that as well. I need to pull out my bug and work on her too because I really want to get that the gourmet sash that's on there finished and off the wheel before sheep and wool. Yeah, because I'll be stopping by and seeing Kate at sheep and wool. Yeah. Anyway, so alumni roster. You might notice that something wasn't on the current roster and that there might be a little something on my neck. Yeah. The wibbly wobbly timey wimey cowl is done. Yay! So, it is the Albers cowl by Ann Weaver. Whoops. And so I did this thinking of Doctor Who colors for the 9th, 10th, and 11th Doctors. So stuff, based on their clothing. So the 9th Doctor, my Christopher Eccleston square, we have, I'm going to try and hold this up and then show. So the green in the middle is Skinny Bugga in the Nebraska something or other colorway. I need to find that tag. But it's a beautiful green. The purple is Neighborhood Fiber Company Studio Sock in the 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And then the black is Ella Ray merino lace in black. It was a numbered colorway, yeah. And the merino lace really isn't a lace weight. Just saying. So, David Tennant Square. The purple is the 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue Studio Sock. Oops. Let me bring up the screen again. Sorry about that. The red is the Unknown Red. I actually think that it might be Dragonfly Fibers. I think that it might be that. And if that's the case, then I got that from Fiberspace. Because this red was originally purchased to make a pair of end paper mitts, Gryffindor end paper mitts. So I found a beautiful Mad Tosh gold to go along with this scarlety red, and I never got around to it. I think because somebody pointed out that looked real, like I'd cast them on or something, and somebody was like, "Oh, that's really Redskins. You're a fan." I'm like, "No, I'm not." So yeah, the more I think about it, the more I think that this is from Fiberspace. The blue is the Ella Ray Lace Merino in another numbered colorway because that's how they roll. And then the brown is also Neighborhood Fiber Company Studio Sock in Druid Hill. And then the Matt Smith block. So the center square is Miss Babs Yummy Toes in the Ansel colorway, named for Ansel Adams. I'm just going to come up a little closer. The brown is the Druid Hill. The red is what I think is Dragonfly Fibers. And the purple is 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And I went back and forth on the color that I was going to carry through all 3 blocks to tie them all together. And it ended up being 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Now, I've thought about crocheting these together and then giving it a border at the top, blah, blah, blah. I decided against that. I decided to go ahead and mattress stitch these. Because really, sometimes there's nothing like a good mattress stitch. So you can see my seams. I'm pretty proud of them. And you can, if you look closely, you can see that I absolutely use the same yarn that I knit my Alumni socks out of to connect all of these. And mostly because I didn't care if you could see it, because they would all be tied together by TARDIS Blue. So yeah, it's not nearly as big as some. I knit this to pattern, I think. On US 2s, I blocked out each of these squares, and they didn't get nearly as much growth as I was hoping for. So I'm thinking that I'm going to block this again and wash and block it again, and this time use paper towels, rolls of paper towels, you know, the wrapped ones obviously, to kind of stretch it out and give it a little bit more room length, or something round and cylindrical. But yeah. But with the crazy weather that we've been having, I actually got to use this a few days last week. So while I was really sad that it was cold, it was like Mother Nature was letting me use this once more. So, and I've been wearing it. I wore it to the shop, to Fiberspace, because I was teaching yesterday and today, both days, because I can. And they wouldn't think it was weird. So yeah, yay, finished object. So that pretty much brings us to the scouting roster, and there really, for once, isn't anything to add to that. I've been pretty good. I mean, I know that there are a couple of things that are probably going to come, but that I'm already, yeah. So, because sheep and wool is coming up. I don't want to spend all the money before sheep and wool. I mean, and I don't know that I'm going to spend a lot of money at sheep and wool, but I want to be able to have that option. So I guess that brings us to what's making me happy this week. I told you this was going to be short, maybe. So things that are making me happy. I actually just got my new tent for the season, because I do go camping. I camp like a princess, but I still go camping in a tent. And last year, my tent from last year, basically, it flooded at the first camp out that I went to. Granted, we drove into a hurricane, but still, that's beside the bands of a hurricane, but that's beside the point. So it flooded last year and then proceeded to flood every time I used it, which I think was only like 1 or 2 more times after that. So I decided this year that I was going to get, I mean, and it's always been, sorry, I'm like jumping. It's always been a little leaky. So I decided to get a new tent this year, and I need to set it up. It came yesterday. I ordered it, I think, on Thursday. So it came yesterday. I'm excited to set it up to see, see how big it is. It's a 6-person tent, because I always get a 6-person tent, and 2 doors, because that's important to me. So I will set it up, and I will probably take pictures and put them on Instagram, because why not? And then seal all of the seams, and looking forward to the first camp out of the year, which is in June for me, which just seems like it's so far away, but it's also not. When I think that sheep and wool is not that far away either. Yeah, 11, 12 days, something like that. It's got to be 12, because Eddie Izzard's in 11. Holy crap. And that's another thing that's making me happy. 11 days from now, so on May 1st, I get to see Eddie Izzard in concert, as it were, in DC. and I am taking Michelle, traveling knitter, and our friend Danielle, who is the owner of Fiberspace. We're all going to see him in live. If you don't know who Eddie Izzard is, oh my gosh, you have to go look him up. There are tons of his stuff. There's tons of things on YouTube. Uh, yeah, yeah, I love Eddie Izzard. I have all the DVDs because I am that kind of a girl. I have seen him live. I can't count how many times. Whenever he comes to the East Coast in the US, I try to make it a point to see him. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. When and if I record next week, if and when, I don't know. I'm hoping that I will. I'll probably be even more excited because it will just be a few days away. So yeah, there is that. So Friday the 1st. And then let's see what else. What else is making me happy? There was something else that was going to make me happy, and I can't remember what it is right now. We are in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Caps did not make it to the Stanley Cup playoffs. I'm not surprised about that. It doesn't fail to make me sad. However, I love hockey. I'm still pulling for teams. I'm pulling for the Anaheim Ducks to win it all. Do I think that it's going to happen? There's a slim margin that it might. I'm not so sure that it's going to happen though. So I'm pulling for the Ducks to win it all. Hopefully. Yeah. They've had a great season. So I'm like, yay, that would be awesome. However, the Blues are definitely making it difficult. Yeah. So let's see what else is making me happy. Well, Sheep and Wool, definitely. If you see me at Sheep and Wool, please come up and say hi. Despite having a podcast and I get out here and I talk to you guys, I talk to a camera basically, and I put this up on the internet, I'm actually kind of shy. So if you see me at Sheep and Wool, if you're there, I know that Michelle and I are planning on going on Saturday. We're hitting Jenny the Potter first. We know this. Everything else I need to plan out. I need to actually download the map and then start planning our day. But if you see me, come up, say hi. I will actually have buttons, hopefully by that point in time. I have ordered some buttons for the podcast. I will be wearing one. I will make Michelle wear one because, love you, Michelle. So I will be giving them out. So if you'd like a button, definitely come up and say hi. Introduce yourself. I'd love to meet you. Like I said, I'm just really kind of shy sometimes. So give me context. If you have a podcast, let me know. Let me know. I'm always looking for more. Even though the only time I have to watch them is at night and listen to them, I listen during the day and in the car. But so I will have buttons. Hopefully they'll get here by that time. I just proofed them and they look good. So we'll see. They're going to be small and an inch. Hopefully I'll have them by next week and I can show them on there. And I'll Instagram them anyway. And I'm thinking of taking my big girl camera with me so that way I can take actual pictures. And that just means I actually have to upload them. So my little used Flickr account will probably get used. So I will let you know if I do that. But yeah, that's about it for this week. I hope you guys have a great week. If you guys would like to reach me during the week, please do. You can email me, sheepishpodcast@gmail.com. I am on Ravelry as KnitGirl, spelled conventionally. I am on Instagram as KnitGirl726. I am on Plurk and on Twitter as Sheepish Podcast, but I'm not really active on there these days. I've just been focusing on Instagram. And if this is the first time that you're giving me a try, thank you so much. Um, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you. You know how I feel about you guys. Um, yeah. And for some reason, I got an influx of people who started watching and who friended me on Instagram or started following me on Instagram. Thank you guys all so much. If you have not joined the Ravelry group, please do. We are at, I don't know. I'm going to check that right now because I can. We are at, let me find the group. There we go. We are at 180 members. That's 20 from 200. And when we get to 200, I'm going to do a prize drawing. Something big. I don't know what yet. Something big. And I actually have a few things that I want to just put up threads for in Ravelry. So definitely join the group. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what you think. I do post the video, the YouTube part of the video because I upload to YouTube. I do post that in the group as well. So please let me know. I'd love to hear from you, hear feedback from you. And I am thinking, since the more podcasts I watch, the more people are putting up threads, and I'm thinking of putting up an Ask Me Anything thread. I don't know. I think I'm going to do that just because I find that it's fun and you get to find out more about who you watch every week. So yeah, feel free to ask me anything. I think I'm going to start that thread right as I'm waiting for this to compress. So yeah, look for the Ask Me Anything thread. I think I'm going to sticky it. And yeah, I think that's about it. It looks like we've had a lot of people who've been putting up socks in the socks thread, and the finished objects. I love seeing what you guys are putting up there. Thank you guys so much for participating in all those. And yeah, so have a great week. I will hopefully see you next week. And I hope you have a great week knit with all of your knit, spin, crocheting. Bye, everyone.